And we're live with Be Green with Amy.
Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Be Green with Amy. I'm Amy. After adopting a whole food plant-based lifestyle, my hubby Rick and I lost over 130 pounds. Now I coach others on their plant-based journey. Just Task Voice. Let's welcome our guest.
Angela Fischetti is a physical fitness, yoga instructor, and licensed massage therapist specializing in wellness for older adults. Please click like to help Be Green with Amy. Welcome, Angela Fischetti.
Greetings, Green Warrior, and welcome back, Angela.
I'm so happy to be back here, Amy, and in honor of our 20th broadcast together, we put together a really cool workout with kettlebells. I wanted something different for your platform, and I know you like them, so I was like, let's bring them to the Green Warriors.
I'm so glad you did, because some people have heard of them and they've not even tried them, and they're kind of mysterious, and other people have, and they want to get some more workouts with them. And Green Warrior, do you want to build strength and boost your fitness? Because whether you're new to kettlebells or you're experienced today, Angela's got you, because she's going to lead us with a fun and empowering kettlebell workout that's perfect for all fitness levels. So don't worry, if you've never even done workouts, you're going to get something out of this. Or if you're advanced, you're going to learn something too. And speaking of learning, if you have a question for Angela, even now, go ahead and type it in the chat, and we'll bring it up for her later in the broadcast and see what we can get as far as answers to your questions. I'm so excited, Angela.
Me too. No, me too. I really am. And I want to just mention here a moment why I'm so big about kettlebell training, okay? Number one, whenever you change equipment, so I'm very used to having dumbbells and using them here at home. And I had gotten an injury probably about 7 months ago at the local gym. And I was doing the shoulder press, military press machine. Well, that thing broke on me. I mean, it broke on me, and it affected my right rotator cuff muscle. You see it as my right. It's technically my left. And it was a nasty injury. But I found that little by little, with light kettlebell work, I was able to get a positive response out of this shoulder. Look, I was very careful. I was smart. I didn't go near certain exercises for a super long time, but it's because of these grips, right? The handles of the kettlebell that allow you to do certain movements that might be a little less comfortable when you're using a dumbbell. For instance, something like this, where I come up and I'm rotating the arms from the shoulders, right? That is what brought me back to the shoulder work with weights, was through kettlebells. The other thing about kettlebell training, no matter what, there are more muscles engaged. There just are. I'm holding here 20-pound kettlebells. I'm telling you right now, I'm working my forearms and wrists and my hands. And this is a good thing for the aging process. Also, it's a low impact approach to strength training. It's low impact. You're not hopping, you're not jumping, you're not going to jump with a kettlebell. And if you do, maybe you're into another type of sport. I understand, but certainly not for those with chronic health concerns and conditions, right? And for people who want to get past being frightened of training. So I'm like a kid in a candy store. Now I'm going to tell you something. I want to give a quick tip to the Green Warriors. If you are anywhere near a Five Below, a store called Five Below, then go there for kettlebells. I walked out of that place with 5-pounders, plural, 8-pounders, 10-pounders for $40.55. Okay? Wow. Right. So I'm telling you this because you know me, I want everybody in every financial background, et cetera, to be able to afford to strength train from home. and make it effective and fun. So if it's an issue for finances, go to Five Below because they've got kettlebells there and they have them there on a regular basis, plus lots and lots of other exercise accessories. And I don't have any financial affiliation with Five Below, trust me.
I'm going to have to check that out because I was able to find wrist weights there. And that was great. So maybe I'll go back again because they are always changing the inventory. So kettlebells.
Yep, absolutely. And they're kind of a cool design. Like here's one. This is my 5-pounder, right? And then of course, then we have here's a 10-pounder. So they have a bigger base on them. But for this, I kind of like them with the different size bases. So that's my suggestion.
Yeah. And Sid Notter's in the house.
Oh, she's got a Five Below. That's great. Hi, Sid.
Sid's on tonight. Five Below in the next town. Thanks for that tip.
You're welcome. I couldn't believe it, Sid. It was great, though. I came out with 6 kettlebells.
Wow. That's
awesome. Yeah. Lots of fun. Lots of fun.
Well, I'm really excited for today's presentation. And you are not just an instructor, but you're an educator, right? So you always give us information. You don't just want to lead a class. You want us to understand and learn and make sure that we're doing everything in the correct form. And you're always covering bases as far as people who have challenges in certain areas. So because you're an educator, we got to start our game.
It's time for True or False on Be Green with Amy Live. Answer true or false to Amy's questions in the comments below, and Amy will ask our guest for the expert answer.
Okay, Green Warrior. First question is true or false? The muscles activated during a kettlebell swing are many. They include the glutes, hamstrings, calves, erector spine. I hope
spinae. Erector spinae.
Erector spinae, trapezius, traps, and rhomboids. That's a lot of muscles. What do you think, Green Warriors? True or false? And while you're typing in your guess, tell us, Angela.
Well, this is true. However, it's incomplete. So when you really think about the breakdown of a kettlebell swing, what I found missing from this particular article were the following muscle groups or following muscles. Whenever you're doing the swing and you're lifting those arms, you have your front anterior deltoid muscles involved. And a lot of articles do not mention the use of your wrist and forearm muscles as well with kettlebell training. And my guess, folks, there's probably even more than what I've mentioned here today.
You know, it's like a total body workout, but yet when you're doing it, you're not thinking about all these muscles that you're activating.
Right.
And because you're activating so many muscles, it's really good that you're here to show us the proper form so that we can prevent injury and get the most out of the workout. Right?
That's right. And because there is momentum with that, you have to be super careful. But do understand it's a compound movement, meaning you're working multiple large muscles with multiple joints simultaneously. What does this mean, Amy? Exercises, never reductionist.
That's right. All right, let's go with our next question. True or false? The kettlebell swing works the anterior chain of the body. Okay, Green Warriors, type in your guess. And Angela, tell us about that.
It's a trick question. Okay, the reason why it's a trick question, well, technically, it's false. It works the posterior chain of the body. And in particular, it works the posterior extensor chain of the body, which would be the gluteals, the hamstrings, and also the back erector muscles. However, that the muscles of the shoulders are on the anterior side of the body, but it's not an anterior chain, right? So it's multiple muscles are in a chain. So the anterior deltoids are involved. So that's why it's a little bit of a trick question, but the technical answer would be false.
Okay, well, we're going to learn more as we go along. We have one more question, and then we're going to begin the workout. True or false? Working explosiveness and power are contraindicated to the healthy aging process. Okay, tell us about that, Angela.
False. And it used to be that was the feeling about, oh, it's too hard, it's too harsh, it's too much. For instance, the kettlebell swing, right? I mean, that's the classic example of explosiveness and power. You got the right answer there, Sid. It is absolutely false. And let me explain why. I'm going to sum it up in reflex reaction time, folks. Look, if you are ever in a tenuous situation where you have got to get up, go, and you've got to think fast on your feet, this is your reflex. This is how you are reacting, right? Through your body, and your reflexes have to be sharp and fast. Training, let's say with that kettlebell swing and several other type of kettlebell exercises, is excellent to enhance your reflex reaction time. So yes, absolutely, this was a primary reason why I actually began with kettlebell training. That was my number one. I went, honey, I have to bring this to my people.
Yeah, and you can start with a really low, light weight, right?
You wait till you see how I show it today.
Okay.
You'll see how that can be done.
Yeah. Okay, well, Green Warrior, tell me in the comments if you've ever done a kettlebell workout. I want to hear about it. Or if you're just here because you're interested in learning, let us know in the comments. We'd like to see. All right, well, I guess we should get started with the workout. What do you think?
Absolutely. And you know me, I'm going to talk a lot in the beginning. So it's just part of the process. It's very important that we understand contraindications, et cetera, like that. So I'm so happy to return here to Be Green with Amy for our 20th appearance together. It's very exciting. This is our beginner's kettlebell total body workout with supersets. Now, supersets meaning working 2 different exercises back to back without any rest. The accessories we'll be using today are pretty simple. I'm using a sticky yoga mat, and I'm using a variety of kettlebells between 5 to 20 pounds. But I'm also going to be using a fit ball for some of the exercises. And if you don't have a fit ball, you can also use a 9-inch Pilates ball. Now, this leads me right into medical disclaimers and precautionary measures. The ball and the mat are made out of latex. So if you have a latex allergy, you want to look for non-latex or latex-free. Now, I'm going to move deeper into medical disclaimers and precautionary measures in just one moment. I do want to state here that if you have any chronic health condition whatsoever, I'm going to invite you to observe the video before participating, and then look for what you can do. However, if you're not sure, then I would invite the medical healthcare practitioner who knows your body best to preview the video as well to help you make an informed decision. Now, more specifically, if you have any knee issues, particularly with bending the knees, flexion of the knees, I'm going to be doing squats here. I'm going to be doing deadlifts. And, well, we're going to be bending the knees quite a bit. So you can shorten the range of motion, or I'm going to give you an alternative. And this alternative is going to help 3 other chronic health conditions. So I'm going to sit my back to the wall, sitting into the wall. It's called a wall sit or a wall seat. Now, you get to bend your knees as little or as much as you like. You have the option from a squatting perspective to slide up and down or simply hold statically. And I'm going to do that as I speak with you here. Now, you may have been told for back spine issues that flexion of the spine is an issue. You might have been told, do not bend down to pick up something. This can be osteoporosis of the spine, but not exclusive to it. And it could also be the postural deviation known as hyperkyphosis. So that's the one where we have that hunched up, rounded appearance. So folks, you don't have to do the squats at the floor. You can come to the wall, because this is why you're upright. But I'm going to tell you something. If you have hyperkyphosis, more than likely when you take it to the wall, you're going to come into a forward head posture. So what you folks want to do is take a nice thick towel, roll it up. Do not place it behind your neck. Place it behind your head and push that head back into the wall. So folks, this is a great alternative for 4 health concerns right there. Also, if you have carpal tunnel syndrome, I'm going to tell you something, Amy, something I notice all the time in the gym, all right? People work out with kettlebells. They do this. They hold those kettlebells like this. It doesn't matter the position of the arm and forearm. This is wrist extension, whether it be this direction or this direction. You want to make sure those wrists are absolutely straight. Also, if you are medicated or not for hypertension, you have vertigo or GERD, I need you to avoid this position of the cervical spine of the neck. It's a forward flexion. I need your head at neutral. Conversely, those of you who have had a TIA, transient ischemic attack, or a stroke, near the end of the session, I'm going to be doing a back bend. It's called a spine extension. And I love to just let the head go into hyperextension of the neck. There's nothing wrong with that. The neck is perfectly capable of doing hyperextension, not for TIA or stroke, folks. So when I come into this position, you're going to keep your head neutral. Do not drop it back, please. Also, if you have any vestibular challenges with your balance, I'm going to be doing a kettlebell kickstand deadlift. What that is basically working one leg at a time. So I'm in a little subtle split stance. And because it is one leg at a time, not the best choice for those of you with vestibular challenges. You want to work exercises of the lower body that are bilateral, both legs at the same time. Now, Amy and I were talking about this earlier. If you have golfer's elbow, medial epicondylitis, or tennis elbow, lateral epicondylitis, folks, I'm going to advise you to seek medical advice regarding whether or not bicep work or tricep work is appropriate for you. The reason why I cannot give you a modification is because your symptoms play themselves out uniquely in each individual. So please get a little further advice. And I think I've mentioned it all. Yes, I also mentioned the latex. So now, some gentle reminders. Always feel free to stop and rest whenever you need to. However, I am not inviting you to quit. So you take a couple of breaths, return to the work, even if it's one more repetition, because this is how you will get stronger. Also, please keep yourselves properly hydrated with water during your workout. I really can't address questions about anything else other than water, because I've read the studies done by Harvard Health and they speak to water. But if you have any kidney or bladder issues and you've been advised by a medical doctor to not drink a lot of water, then you follow that advice, please. Also, on my YouTube channel, Amy, there is one video which is both a warm up and a cool down. And if you want me to, I'll be happy to forward you that link, because it is really important for those of us 55 years and above to warm up for a full 10 minutes prior to any workout. The other thing is I'm going to give the Green Warriors a little bit of homework. And your assignment today is to look up, to Google, the rating of perceived exertion chart, RPE for short. And I would like you to look for the one by Borg, B-O-R-G. It's a 0 through 10 subjective scale. And it is an excellent tool to gauge your sense of effort. You got it right there, Amy. Thank you. It's an excellent tool. And I have to say, especially for people who are on certain medications like beta blockers, and for those who have a pacemaker. And you could always show that chart to your doctor and say, hey, can I work with this? And it's also an excellent tool for those who just don't know how to take their training heart rate. We want to work out at an RPE between 3 and 6 on the 0 through 10 scale. That's super important for them to know that. All right. So it's just a wonderful way that you can approach the work. So what are we going to do here today with this beginner's kettlebell total body workout with supersets? Perfect, Amy. Thank you. What we're going to do is I'm going to teach you 9 exercises, and I'm going to teach them in a vertical format. One set. And a set is a group of 8 to 15 repetitions. We'll probably be doing 8 reps for the sake of time, but without any resistance. This is going to help you if you have chronic health concerns, if you're new to strength training or new to exercise. However, this is where I will be tying in the fit ball, not on every exercise, but on some of them, because by using the fit ball, holding something in your hands, it has no weight, right? But it will help you with your form. Then after we do those 9 exercises vertically, we're going to move into supersetting. 4 blocks of 2 exercises each, and 1 exercise that's a standalone exercise. And I'm kind of pushing the limits of the definition of supersetting here, but it's kind of doing a superset unto itself. You're not doing 2 different exercises, but because you're working 2 different sides of the body, back to back, back to back, I'm going to consider that a superset. So now let's begin the work. As always, we're going to begin here in what I call an athletic ready stance. It is how you stand during your training. So I'm going to place the hands to the inside of the high hip bone. This is called the iliac crest. Place the hands to the inside. I want you to make sure those hands are not turned in. Then I'm going to look down and I'm going to line up the inside of the hip bone to the knees, to the ankles. Toes are in the same line as each other. Now I'm going to turn to the side and I'm going to speak to the females in the house in particular. I find a lot of females come into this tipping of the pelvis forward when they train. It's called an anterior pelvic tilt. Well, we actually don't want to do that. We want to come into a subtle, soft, posterior pelvic tilt, pulling the belly button in. It's also known as a pelvic tuck. So that's your athletic ready stance. Now, before we go into the 9 exercises, I want to break down 2 movements for you. One is a squat and one is a deadlift. And the reason is because I find people interchange the form. They're not the same. All right. So I will be facing you and also facing different angles. So for my basic squat, I'm in an athletic ready stance. I bring the arms out in front. I lift the toes inside the shoes. Now you can see my toes are elevated, but I'm not lifting the balls of the feet and the arches, right? Just the toes. I inhale, sit back into a chair. Exhale, come up into a posterior pelvic tilt where I'm squeezing the glute, facing the side. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, come up, posterior pelvic tuck, Squeeze glute and the quadricep muscles. I'm going to stay here. A deadlift. Fingertips in front of the thighs, toes are lifted, and I'm hip hinging. Got the difference? But I'm also doing the pelvic tuck squeeze. Now, why am I showing you with the toes up? For several reasons, folks. Number one, we need to show love to our shin muscles. We don't show them any love. And this is why people shuffle like this later on in life. All of this is super tight on them, all right? So we're going to get them to move. We're going to get them activated. And we do this just by lifting the toes. This will affect your balance as well as help your knees. The other part of this is when you have the toes lifted, it transfers the body weight back into the heels. And when I drive up, I'm engaging more of that posterior extensor chain of the body. So it's just a little bit of a tip on what you can do to get the most out of the work. Now, let's come into the first block. We have the kettlebell front squats with the kettlebell gorilla row. So I'm going to take the ball here for those front squats on a diagonal. Find your athletic ready stance. Ball is pretty close to my chin. I have to be mindful that I have a microphone here. And inhale, sit back. Exhale, up. Pelvic tuck squeeze. So your breath is in and out through the nose. So I inhale to lower, exhale on the effort to come up. I want to pause at the peak of the contraction, right here up top. We're going to do 2 more. Exhale up, 1 more. Toes are lifted and pause. Now, for that gorilla row. A gorilla row is in a forward flexion. So for those of you with the back spine flexion issues, you're going to stay upright. We're going to bring the ball out in front. Inhale, exhale. You lift your chest up to the ball as you pull it in. Inhale, exhale, pull. So this is a pull movement. That means we're working the upper back muscles, rhomboids included, posterior deltoid, the back of the shoulders, as well as your bicep muscles. Now, what is the gorilla row going to look like? Feet a bit wider than the hips, ball out in front, and pull. And pull. We'll do 1 more like this, and pull. Slowly come on up. Now, for your next block, just double checking the ball doesn't go away from us. I have the kettlebell kickstand deadlift along with the kettlebell standing incline pec fly. So we're going to grab that ball again, coming into a split stance. Notice the back heel is super high off the floor. It's not this, and it's definitely not a lunge, all right? It's just a split stance. We put the ball directly in front of the thigh, and here it is, up and forward. So I'm coming up and forward. Why am I doing that rather than straight up? Because I'm putting that work right in that glute. And I have to tell you, I don't like this exercise, but I do it. Because oh my goodness, it gets right into the gluteals. And this is a must for us as we are in healthy, active aging. We need to do kickstand deadlifts, folks. I'm going to do 1 more. Inhale, exhale, up and forward. Turn sides here. Now this side, I'll be forthcoming. I've had an injury since a little girl here, and it left me with some recurring issues. And so I just have to do the best that I can on this side. But it goes right into that muscle. Listen, a lot of times, females in particular fall later in life because of weak gluteals. Not only because of it, but oftentimes it has to do with it. They cannot hold themselves up. So we have to get you stronger there. 1 more. Woof. Even without resistance, it's a little nasty. Okay, now let's come into that standing pectoral. This is your chest muscle, incline fly. So we're going to bring the arms out like so. Just double check your circumstance that you don't bang into anything. And I'm going to scoop up and under the breast tissue. Scoop up and under. Now I'm going to tell you something. When you're holding those kettlebells, woo, mama, you're going to feel a lot of the core muscles. So here's a true false, Amy. Core muscles are your abdominal muscles.
Ooh. Okay, Green Warriors. Type in your guess. Say it one more time so that they can hear it.
Core muscles are your abdominal muscles.
Yeah, because people say work your core, and people think
core. One more like this. That's right.
Abdominal.
That's right.
Sid says false. That's what I say.
She listened. She listened. Thank you, Sid. So what do we have again? Core muscles, abdominals, back erectors, gluteals, quadricep, and pelvic floor muscles. How about that? And when you put that kettlebell in your hand, they're all going to be talking at you. Okay, so for the next block, we have a kettlebell swing, and we have kettlebell delt abduction, adduction. So the swing, here we go. This is how I'm going to show you how to use this ball with it. When you have something of weight, okay, this is how you're going to approach it. You don't have to approach it this way when you don't just using the ball, but I want to demonstrate it with the ball. For some people who don't want to use a kettlebell, they could also use a weighted ball, by the way. So I'm going to bring the ball to the floor, a bit out in front of me. I keep the head up. As I inhale, I swing through, exhale up, and I continue like that. I'm coming up vertically. Now, I want to show you something. I would never stop like that if I had the kettlebell, but I want you to see something. What is this movement, Amy? It's a deadlift, is it not?
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right.
It's a deadlift. No question about it.
But you've got that thrusting movement.
That's right.
So it's kind of disguised.
That's right. Two more. And notice I'm not having you do this stuff, right? We're not bringing it up and overhead. So
but
that's how
you're using mostly your hips when you're doing that movement more than
hips.
You're not trying to lift your arms up though.
All of that is involved. It's all involved, right? So all these many muscles involved, but hips is a big factor here. Okay, it's it's hip and back extension. The next one is the kettlebell delt abduction, adduction. So deltoids, all right, abduction, ABD, going away from the midline of the body, adduction, ADD, going toward the midline. When you are holding those kettlebells, that's why I only use 5-pounders on this, because it is an extraordinary amount of weight and work, but it's excellent. So working those strong shoulder muscles. It's also a nice option, by the way, for those who have rotator cuff issues and who might have pinched nerve. I'm going to go for 2 more like this. Pause at the peak. Control it down. Notice I go slow and controlled. And slowly take it down. Before we go on, in between the blocks, you can take your stretches or even this gentle type of shoulder roll. Now, the next 2 exercises I kind of created, but I like them because they work, all right? And but I do have to say, caution, please, those of you with medial epicondylitis, which would be golfer's elbow, or lateral epicondylitis, tennis elbow, please. So I'm going to set my arms here at a 90-degree bend at the elbow. I'm going to stay like that. Now, you'll be holding your kettlebells here, right? And I'm going to scoop the arms up so the elbows are just slightly higher than the shoulders. And then I scoop them back down. But I am not changing that position of the forearm. right? What you don't see me doing is this. No, I want this. So we're working the biceps isometrically. We're working the forearms, traveling back up, front deltoid. Scooping up, pause, slow on the down. I'm going to take a couple of more like this. One more. Now, coming to what I call the tricep lift and push the wheelbarrow. Now, I have students who are farmers. They deal with pushing and pulling wheelbarrows as part of their activities of daily living. So I'm going to take my arms, turn the palms toward each other. I'm going to bring the bent elbows back. Notice the wrist and elbow down on the same line as each other. I am not leaning forward. I lift and push. Lift and push. I am not doing a kickback. I am not doing a kickback. This is an intense exercise, posterior deltoids, back of the shoulders, again, the upper back muscles and triceps. Slow and controlled. So you're pushing that wheelbarrow away, lifting it and push. One more of each. Inhale, exhale, push. Easy as you lower down. Take a couple of shoulder rolls. Last exercise. The last block is the 9th exercise. That's right, Amy. You got it. It's the round the body pass. So whenever you pass off the kettlebell, it's in front of you or behind you. You want to hold your body steady. You don't want to be rocking all over the place. So I'm just passing the fit ball. You can have, I've done this where I demonstrated with a 5-pound weighted exercise ball. Now I'm going to reverse direction. So now you can see how it's kind of, sort of, a superset unto itself. Hold steady. All right, now let's move into the actual work with the kettlebells. And I'm going to just get rid of this thing because we're not going to need it. So first block, kettlebell, front squats with kettlebell, gorilla row, 15 pounders on my front squat. That means I got 30 pounds in front of me now, folks. This means I got to be slow and controlled and in breath. Athletic, ready stance, toes lifted. Inhale, sit back. Exhale, pelvic tuck, squeeze at the top. Two more. Careful when you lower them down, especially if they're heavier. Now, for my kettlebell gorilla row. Now, you know, those of you know with the back spine issues, you're not going to do it this way. You're going to stay upright. I'm using 20 pounders. I'm going to introduce the concept of both bilateral and unilateral work with you here. So we bend, bilateral, that's 1. Unilateral, 2, 2, 3. So now you understand how your count would be. Keep that head up. You're not looking at the floor. 7, 8, 8. Lower down. Carefully come back up. Back to the kettlebell front squats. Let me just make sure they don't fall. There we go. I'm going to go in a bit of a diagonal for you. And inhale, exhale. Squeeze it all up top. close to the chin. One more. Man, do I feel it. Easy as you lower. A lot of work there on the forearms, by the way. And this is no joke, the way that I am breathing. It is, what you're hearing is authentic. Compound movements, folks. Bilateral and unilateral. Seven, one more. And slowly take it up. Next is the kettlebell kickstand deadlift. So I'm going to go back to, I'm going to show you two ways of how to handle the weights on this. The kickstand deadlift, along with that kettlebell standing incline pec fly. So the subtle split stance, I have 15 pounders. This is called a suitcase grip. Up and forward. Oh, God. Two more. Hold here. Turn to the side. Could Sid write us a note? Is she on tonight? Sid, can you answer the question?
Tell us in the comments if you're on tonight. And I think that when you were demonstrating this earlier, she wanted to know if that exercise works both glutes or just the one leg.
Primarily the one leg, primarily. What did she say there? I didn't see that note.
Yeah, she hasn't answered the question yet. So
okay. And hold here. Now, thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. I don't know if she has a presentation tonight.
Sid does have she's going to be on tonight for the final coaching series. Ooh.
I'm coming, girlfriend.
Yep, Sid's been on my broadcast, and she does a lot of cooking demos, and also, let me just get you doing the incline pec fly here.
Yep. Yeah, I'm excited to watch. She and Vicky Brett got my buddies.
That should be outstanding.
So right here, a ton of core. Couple more. One more. Okay, back to the kettlebell kickstand deadlift. Let me show you how to do this with one weight. So for this, I'm using a 20-pounder right in front of you. So one was the suitcase grip alongside. Now it's directly in front of the leg. I mean, it literally is touching my thigh and my leg. And for those of you who do not know, the leg anatomically is from just below your knee down to the top of the ankle. One more. Oh, Amy, whose idea was this? Okay. And so, yeah, we're working it, baby. Up and forward. Hip hinge, up and forward. Now, some people play with lifting the back foot. But when you have heavier and heavier weight, you got to see if that works or not. Oh, man. One more. Oh, back to that pec fly, right? The standing incline pec fly. Let's give you a diagonal. Puff up the chest right here. You don't want to collapse the chest. When the arms are out in front, pause at the peak. Careful here now, carpal tunnel syndrome. No wrist extension. 2 more. I'm going 2 more now. Oh, yeah. Okay. Next block, we have, what do we have? Yes, the kettlebell swing. I'm going to use a 20-pounder. With the kettlebell delt abduction adduction, I'll be using 5. So the swing like so. So here we go. I'm going to face you so you can see. Well, let me go back a little bit because we want that kettlebell a little bit out in front, right? So here we go. Through the legs, exhale. Don't forget, it's a deadlift. One more. Easy as you set it down. Get it out of the way. We don't want it on the floor. It could be an obstruction for you. Delt abduction adduction. So plug the arms into the shoulder sockets. Notice I'm starting 10 to 15 degrees from the sides of the body. That's just for those of you who have rotator cuff or the pinched nerve issues. I like to do it this way because it's just more challenging for me. It's very easy to swing the arms around. We don't want to do that. We want to place it. 2 more. Again, carpal tunnel syndrome. Pay attention here. No wrist extension. Oh, yeah, baby. I'm sweating now, Amy. Okay, let's take it back to the kettlebell swing. I'm going to do it on a diagonal this time. Notice the feet are wider than the hips. Out in front. Inhale, exhale. All the way up. Meaning you stand vertical. Two more. Out in front. Walk toward it. Put it away. Now we're going to go for the delt abduction adduction. Step away from the weights. You want those strong shoulders, folks, to be able to reach up and into a high shelf in a closet or in your kitchen cabinet to put things away. But we also want to be able to take them back down without them falling on us. Oh, one more. Ooh la la. All right, next block. In between, for the moment, I need some shoulder rolls. So for the next block, we have the kettlebell bicep scoop with the tricep lift and push. 90 degrees. Careful here for carpal tunnel. Careful here for golfers and tennis elbow. So you notice I keep checking into the camera to see what I'm doing. 2 more. Carefully set them down. I'm going to try and see what it feels like to level up today on the tricep lift and push with 8-pounders. So we come behind us and we lift and push. Let me come this way so I can just see something for the moment. Yeah. And push. We don't want to look down at the floor. We don't want to come into a forward head posture. Whew. One more. Oh. Easy does. Back to the bicep scoop. De-doop. Okay, 90 degrees. Lots of forearm here, lots and lots of core. So much core. Front deltoid. There's even some pectoral muscle involved. Oh, one more. And back to tricep lift and push the wheelbarrow. Whew. Two more. Oh, and slowly in. Whew, I think we have one more. Yes, okay, we are on our last block unto itself. This will be the kettlebell around the body pass. So I'm using 1 10-pounder because it's got a big fat handle, folks. That's why. And I'm a little more comfortable doing this with a bigger handle. I went a little bit straighter. Going to reverse direction now. Reverse again, right? That's 2 sets then. Opposite. Last one. And release. And now let's do a cool down. So let's take some nice big shoulder rolls. Please do not do elbow pumps. I see a lot of that. I want you to lift to your earlobes. We also want to avoid looking down when you shoulder roll because then you're not really going to get the full benefit of the movement. Now I'm going to inhale, push the arms out. So I'm pushing the walls away from me. Exhale, hold. Not for you, carpal tunnel. You're going to straighten those wrists and reach out through your middle fingers. For the rest of us, wrist extension. And then inhale, thumbs down. Exhale, interlock all 10 fingers behind you. Clasp the thumbs. Draw the palms together. Avoid this, please. Some people are super tight and they will do this, thinking, oh, I'm going really far back. No, what you folks can do is basically take a yoga strap, bring it behind you, hold on to it with your hands a bit wider than your shoulders, nice and taut, and simply slide the hands back and hold. That's an option for you, all right? Also, I want to do a lateral flexion. So you stand with your feet slightly wider than the hips. Inhale, slide down, turn your right ribs away from the floor so you're not collapsing the right side organs. Sternum, breastbone toward the ceiling. Exhale. For those of you with rotator cuff or pinched nerve, hand to the waist. For the rest of us, up and over. Do not push your hips out. We're reaching up and down through the middle fingers, stretching the intercostals between the ribs, the obliques at the waist. Inhale, turn the palm up, grab an imaginary hook. Exhale, vigorously reach out and take it to the other side. Inhale, exhale, up and over, hips forward. And torso back, breath in and out through the nose. Inhale, palm up, grab a hook, reach out, exhale, push into the right heel, come up. And now I want to do that back spine extension, the back bend, because there's a lot of forward flexion in this type of work. So standing with the feet wider than the hips. Now I'm going to face the side. Place your hands on your sacrum, the flat triangular plate at the small of the back. But look at the hands here. This is wrist extension. So carpal tunnel, you bring your hands below your butt and now your wrists are straight. So what I'm going to think is I'm sliding my sacrum down toward the heels. Does the sacrum slide? No, it doesn't. But that's what I like to think. Now I'm bending my knees, bringing the hips and pelvis forward, even getting a nice stretch to the abdominals. Remember TIA stroke? You're going to hold it here, roll the shoulders back, and then if you want, you can go for it. You don't have to, right? For some of you, you might want to straighten the knees instead. Inhale, chin to neutral. Exhale, stand up tall. Again, some nice big shoulder rolls. One final movement. It's what I call a belly dance, or maybe Amy would calling it doing the hula. Kind of is like a hula hoop movement, right, Amy? And let's reverse. Because Amy does some great hula hoop work. Reverse direction. And that's what we've got for you here today on the 20th appearance with Amy and I. Be Green with Amy.
Oh,
thank you.
Awesome. What a great workout.
Thank you very much.
I'm so glad you showed us with the ball at first, because not everybody has to go out of the gate and get a kettlebell and start with that. Even if it's not a weighted ball, they could just do it with a regular ball.
That's right. That fitness ball. Right.
Yeah.
And here's the weighted one.
Mm-hmm.
This is a 5-pound one, right? So you don't want to use a kettlebell? Well, that's okay by me. You can use a weighted ball. Why not, right? That's how you can level up, folks. There's many ways of leveling up. It's not just jumping high weights, right? I mean, Amy knows, Sid knows I love to use wrist weights a lot of the time too. Adjustable wrist weights are a fantastic way of leveling up. If you cannot jump, these weights go from, it's a jump of 3 pounds, a jump of 5 pounds. That's a lot of weight for some people. It's just a lot of weight. And I know there's science out there that's saying you should be, increasing your weights 10% every whatever. You know what? They're not talking to people with chronic health concerns. It just doesn't work that way. So,
right. Especially if you're having your arms extended out like that, even just a pound can make such a big difference on your joints.
That's right. Absolutely.
Yeah. Sid said, congratulations on 20 episodes together. Definitely a great team. Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Sid, so much.
And Mona said, always great, Amy and Angela. Oh.
And I'm so happy Mona is here. I'm so happy that she's here.
Yeah. So while you were doing that, I asked the Green Warrior what was the number one thing that they're struggling with on their health and fitness journey right now. And if you haven't answered that question yet, that's the question that I put in the chat for you. So if you want to answer that question, and Sid said that she needs to increase her exercise frequency. Right.
Okay.
So yeah.
So Sid, maybe what you can do is break it down into more manageable quantity of time, right? So maybe today I have a 10-minute slot, I don't know, whatever time of the morning. And maybe I have another 10-minute slot sometime in the late afternoon, and maybe another 10-minute slot in the early evening, right? And the reason why I broke it down that way is because the American Heart Association, pardon me, does suggest 30 minutes. 30 minutes, okay? So that's why I'm saying for some people, they may not be able to do that 30 minutes at one time, right? So take a workout, break it up into 10-minute segments.
Yeah. And I think because you offer such a variety of classes, and modalities. If I think we just need to find something that resonates with us and that we really enjoy doing.
That's right.
And that's why and for me, I can't do the same thing day after day. I need variety. I get bored. And so you just offer such a variety of classes and different ways of doing it. And if you keep trying these different classes that you offer, you're bound to find something oh wow, that's interesting and fun, or that's a bit of a challenge. And I think that helps a lot too, just having something new to look forward to.
Right. And I think having, you know what, if you look at everything like an experiment, I'm just going to try this one out today. I'm just trying to see if this appeals to me.
Right.
And maybe it does, and maybe it doesn't. And it's just, okay, then the next time you're going to try something else that might or might not light your fire, And it's a really excellent point that you bring up, Amy. It's just finding something that's of interest to you, something that is fun.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you something, folks. You need to bring your game. You need to bring your fun game to your workout. I'm serious when I say that to you, because fun is in the eyes of the beholder, isn't it? Yeah. So if you just look at it like, let me tell you something. When I was in that Five Below store that day, I was like, you got what? You have what here?
And they're so fashionable and cute.
you are selling what? I need a cart. You know what I mean? I was like, I'm not carrying it with a basket. I need a cart. I'm coming out of here with 3 sets. Yeah. And if you find the, oh boy, you just, and I don't care what it is. Amy does this when she's doing the hula hoop. Do you not? I see you when you do the hula hoop. You're having a blast. It's bringing the kid out in you, right? I know you're doing that on the rebounder. You know I'm doing that on the rebounder, okay? And you know I'm doing that when I'm designing my classes. Yeah, this is serious business. I got to think about a lot of health issues, okay? Yeah. I don't have that frame of mind. I don't have, oh, this is a drag, man. I got all these illnesses I got to put into the work. I'm like, let's have fun.
Look at what my body can do if I let it.
Right. Yeah.
And I play music. I find my favorite kind of music that gets me, wanting to move, and I play that.
That's it. For me, mostly, sometimes I do that with the music, but mostly for me, what turns me on is listening to health and whole food plant-based webinars, watching the podcasts, listening. Sometimes it's not on that topic. Sometimes it's something else, but it's just catching my attention, allows me to focus. And if there's family maybe that isn't that supportive, maybe you can change the circumstance. If it's something that you choose, and maybe you can go somewhere to take a class, go somewhere to a gym, whatever, because maybe you can find that time of self-care that's not at home. And you can get away from a negative vibe and just come back home then when it's appropriate, and all is good. It's just a thought, it's just a thought.
There's all kinds of ways to do it. Just keep trying different things and make it part of your identity. I had said in the comments that I have a few different workout outfits that I like to wear.
There you go.
Before I go to bed, I lay them out, because when I wake up, they're going on.
That's it. There you go. There you go. Now, here's another thought. I look at my exercise as if I'm calendaring it. Yeah. It's in my calendar. Write it in your calendar. That 20 minutes, that half an hour is your solid time devoted to yourself. You're making an appointment with yourself for your health. Yeah. And I don't see why that's any less important than any other work appointment, whatever social appointment. I don't see why it's any less important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And maybe in the beginning, you don't get excited about it, but if you keep pressing play and you keep doing it, after a while, it's going to become part of your identity, and it's going to be, I'm a person who I eat good food and I take care of my body that way, but I'm also a person that exercises.
Right.
And then if you almost feel like you just kind of get in that groove and in that habit, and then it just becomes a part of what you do.
Right.
Just keep doing it, and it'll become that way. Absolutely. So let me just see if we had any other questions or comments. Let's see. So Mindful Maddie said, how often should I incorporate kettlebells into my weekly routine?
As often as you'd like to.
Hmm,
It's the truth, right?
that's a-
Um, I will always say vary exercises, vary the accessories. There's many reasons for this. One has to do with cognitive issues, right? It's excellent for the brain to go, wait a minute, she's not using dumbbells today. Now she's
yeah,
doing something else,
yeah,
right? And maybe I'm using bands and tubes another day. And so you have to think differently. Your body has to respond differently, but you can do it as often as you would like, as long as you are paying attention to your form and your alignment, Mindful Maddie. And that's why I'll tell people, why don't you film yourself? Film yourself and rewatch yourself.
yeah.
That's part of my work, Amy. I will film a client, show them what they were doing, and then show them how they fixed it, right? It's just a great way. You see yourself and just
Yeah,
go, oh,
that's an
yeah,
excellent idea.
sure. Thank you.
Wow, I love that. Well, Green Warrior, please click like to show your appreciation for what Angela shared with us today. And now, as our 20th episode is here, Angela, tell us about what you do and how we can find you on social media.
Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate this. Well, I'm on most of the socials, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And I do have a YouTube channel, which is Boomer and Beyond Wellness. And so, as Amy said, there's all different types of workouts there. We're going to be approaching 100 pretty soon. And there's also lots of yoga. But if you do want to work with me privately, I am available for virtual work. As a senior fitness consultant, I work as a personal trainer, and I have 30, 60, and guess what? 10-minute sessions as well, where we're just working one exercise at a time. And I also do virtual hatha yoga, prenatal yoga. And if you are in the Fort Lauderdale area of Florida, I am a licensed massage therapist and I work on site, which means I go to your office or your home to give you massages. And I do love to give deep tissue massages as well as Swedish, but I also specialize in geriatric massage and I do palliative care massage as well. And I did want to extend an offer to the Green Warriors, Amy, that if they are interested in subscribing for my monthly newsletter, please do. And you would go to my website, boomerandbeyondwellness.com, and look for the subscribe tab. And then once you subscribe, as a thank you, you will receive a workout that I designed specifically for newsletter subscribers. And that's what I have to share with you today. Now, I should say, I guess, that I am on a couple of whole food plant-based platforms. So if you are considering joining a platform, I do work for Timmery Hagenberger and she's known as the nutrition professor, and her group is called the Foodie Bar Way of Life. I am a strength training video provider for her platform, as well as for the platform Feel Fabulous Over 40. For them, I provide both strength training and yoga videos. Plus, I teach a live Zoom class monthly, and it's always a strength training class. And both of these platforms are about helping those transition from a whole food plant-based, from a standard American diet to whole food plant-based. And they both really value exercise. And Amy, I'm on a mission to get on as many whole food plant-based podcast shows as possible to bring them a strength training workout for their platform, because Amy, this is an issue for me where there's such beautiful work going on the platforms, but it's all about the food. The thing is our food supports strength training, supports our recovery process, particularly for the aging process. So Kathy Hester and I, we've come to an agreement where I'm presenting monthly on her podcast show now for her viewers. So little by little, I'm going to achieve this and just spread the word. You know, it's so important.
Yes, it really is.
Thank you, Amy, I appreciate it.
We're just so fortunate to have you as our advocate. Absolutely.
My home away from home.
Yeah. Well, I really want to thank you, Angela, for leading us through that empowering kettlebell workout and inspiring us to keep building strength. Mm-hmm. So
thank you.
What is your final take-home message for our green warriors?
Never quit. Never give up, because as you can see here with a simple fit ball, there's so much movement that you can do. And when I say movement, I'm talking about purposeful movement. And that depends upon where you are at in this specific time in your life. For some people, they have major health issues. So walking the dog is a big deal. But if walking the dog is not a big deal any longer, it's time to level up. And you can level up slowly and add the lighter weights and the weighted balls and the weighted vests. I do a fitness walk often, and I wear my weighted vest. I wear a 12.5-pound vest. You think I began there? No. Absolutely not. So just know that there's an outlet for you, because I am a true advocate for those who have chronic health concerns. There's a place you can go online for free material for you to access. And you can contact me, by the way, via the contact form on my website, Boomer and Beyond Wellness. And there's a contact tab. I'll be happy to respond to questions for you as well. So just don't quit. Don't give up on yourself.
I love it. Well, Green Warrior, tell us what you're going to remember from today's class, because we learned a lot about the body and what it can do. And type that in the comments if you can, so other people can read through that. I also wanted to thank Just Tat's Voice. She did the countdown. She did the promos. And she's just so talented and so helpful, and she helps Be Green with Amy level up.
That's it.
Just Tat's Voice, tell us who's coming up next. I'm really excited about this one.
Can diabetes really be reversed? Is fruit a friend or foe? Renowned registered dietitian Brenda Davis joins us to answer these crucial questions and more. Don't miss this deep dive into the power of plant-based nutrition, Wednesday, November 13th, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, on Be Green with Amy Live.
Say what? Yeah. Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah, she is the queen. The queen is coming to Be Green with Amy. She actually was on another show, but she was on with Dr. Resma Shaw, and they were talking about children and whole food plant-based. But now I get to talk to her about this, and Brenda Davis is just a fabulous. She just knows everything plant-based, but she's very, very expert at diabetes. So if you have it, or you know someone that has it, you are going to learn a lot, and you are going to get any question answered. And this would be the expert that you would want to ask questions of. So I encourage you to share that with anybody that you know, or just come on and ask them questions. Yeah.
Oh, this is exciting. I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I'm really excited too. She's just a wonderful human being. So I wanted to, most of all, thank you, Green Warrior, because you joined us today, and your engagement and your support make these classes meaningful and impactful. And I really hope that Angela inspired you to take a closer look at your health choices and your exercise choices, and make some positive changes to your health and well-being. Because remember, every move we make is an opportunity to make our bodies stronger, just like Angela, and become the healthiest versions of ourselves. So please stay tuned for more empowering content, and please subscribe to my channel. Check out Angela's social media as well. Share our message with others who can benefit, because together as Green Warriors, we can make a meaningful difference in the world.
That's right.
And as a special thank you to all of you, I am offering you 5 free recipes. So all you have to do is go to my website, begreenwithamy.com/join, and I will send you 5 free recipes along with me doing some fun little exercise things that I'm working on. And I'll give you some motivational messages too. And I would like to invite all of you to take your right hand and grab your left shoulder, and take your left hand and grab your right shoulder. Now squeeze, because that's a hug from me to you, Angela, because we need to spread love in this world. And if you want to join me with Angela, you can type in my comments there, my tagline. Are you ready, Angela?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So until I see all of you again, remember, be strong, be well, and be green.
Green! Thank you, Amy!
Thank you, Angela. Thank you, Green Warriors. Always a pleasure to see you all on the broadcast. Take care.
Looking for really tasty recipes that are SOS free? No sugar, oil, or salt. How can it taste good? Well, if you like flavor, then you'll love this Be Green with Amy recipe ebook. Get your copy today. Click on the link in the show notes. Be strong, be well, and